Hi guys, Mateus from Random Hackers here. I will be doing a not so little tutorial, okay? There are many things actually to show here, but stick with me and we're gonna improve the quality of the stream, okay? First thing first, settings. In the first tab, there's nothing to fiddle, okay? Go to stream. Here is where you put the key that we're gonna send you. So the thing is, when you receive the key, copy it first for our notepad. Why do that? Because we had problems before that people had the wrong formatting. Okay, so when you copy from whatever source you get from a chat, for example, and put in a notepad, and from the notepad you copy again and put here, it's gonna have the correct formatting and will not give problems, okay? Even if it's the same letter and number, sometimes it doesn't work, okay? So another thing, when you copy everything. Don't copy just this part, for example, okay? So here in server, you put the city that's most next to you, the services switch, of course. Okay, output. First thing here is the output mode. You need to switch to advanced so you can have access to everything. Audio track, number one. Encoder, you have two types of encoder, the X and the H. The X264 use the CPU power. The H264 use the GPU power, okay? So usually you wanna use the H. Why? Because we leave the resources of the CPU for the streaming, for the DAW you're using, the audio music software you're using, or anything else you're doing, like visuals, anything, okay? So usually there's not a problem unless you don't have no graphic card whatsoever. Like maybe then the X264 gonna be better, okay? But you gotta check it out. The H264 uses lighter. This option enforces streaming service encoder settings. You want to leave this on. I don't think there is a bad case if you turn it off, but on improves a lot, you know. Usually there are problems. You click here, turn on, and it's all good, you know. Rescale outputs. If you want to change the resolution, don't use this. Leave this unmarked. Presets. When you're in H264, you may have presets. So here I have this switch, which is really convenient. Oh, I'm using the AMD encoder, okay? If you are on NVIDIA graphic card, there will be NVENC, like NV encoder, NVENC. But it's the same thing. Quality presets. And if you are doing really heavy stuff, you need to change to speed. But if you are like recording, usually not streaming, it's okay to use balanced. Okay, balanced it's already good quality. You don't need to use quality, but if you really want to have a good computer, then use quality. If not, you just leave it and in balanced or speed. Okay. Oops. Here, rate control. It's constant bitrate. Don't use the other ones. Prepass disable, filler data enable. Keyframe is really important. It's gotta be 2. If it's on X264 you're using, that will be the preset for the CPU you use. It will be like ultra fast, super fast, and very fast. All the three use more or less the same CPU, so you want to use the very fast. But if your computer is really bad, then and you need to use the X264, then use like ultra fast, okay? But from ultra fast to very fast, the improvement of quality in the image is very big, and it's basically the same amount of CPU used. Okay, back here. Target bitrate. The maximum for Twitch is 6000. And what bitrate to use? This is really important, okay? You can change the bitrate in the middle of the stream. If you have problems, you can increase or reduce. Okay, you just need to change and apply or put OK. So if you have problems, you can reduce to like 6, then 4, then 3, then 2, and so on. If you're like already in 1000, it's bad, you put 800, then 600, 500, 400. Then you go until you have a stable streaming, okay? This controls the quality of the stream, but don't affect the sound. The sound is separate thing. It's only the video, okay? And here you're gonna use like between 3000 and 6000. Usually is that if you have a good connection. If you have a stable image like a static image, you want to use like 3000 at most, maximum 4000, because you're gonna use 6000 for like really good videos, you know, like stuff that's require more quality. If you're doing like just showing you playing and mixing, you can use 3000. It's pretty good, okay? Let's see here, the next one, recording. Audio track. If you need to record, audio track is one. MKV is a good one. Same things. You can use the same one from streaming, the age. No rescanning, okay? Preset. Here is the recording one. The quality I put balanced. And prepass disable. For record, you can use a higher bitrate, but you don't use too much or you'll give a very big file size. So usually use like between 6 and 10,000, okay? The keyframe 2 again, and that's it. Audio. The Twitch maximum is 160, but it's gonna convert to 160. So I usually use 320, so it's a better quality, and then it converts to 160. Now I don't know if I put a 160 if it will convert anyway or not, you know. So as I don't know, I just use like 320 because it's high quality, and from there I do the processing it needs to, the secondary encoding that Twitch do automatically. All right. Let's see audio here. You wanna put a sample rating for the channel stereo, the desktop audio device. You need to select the correct one that's sending the audio, okay? For example, you can use Voicemeeter if you need to create a virtual routing, virtual ASIO, okay? If you need to, you can create it. Or if you need an alternative routing of audio, download Voicemeeter. Potato is a free to use program, and it's really useful. You can do many things with it. So the OBS, it records all the sounds going through the system, okay? So it's down there in this desktop audio. But if you start to adding things, it's gonna have other channels here. So you're gonna select what you want or not, okay? You can have two audio devices if you're receiving audio from a hardware recording or your synthesizer or something. Microphone, and that's it. Video. Here is where you change the resolution. It's not the first one, it's the second one. Okay? The first one will leave the same as your resolution from your desktop, from your computer. If you're using Full HD, you leave Full HD here. But if you need to downscale, if you want to reduce the consumption of CPU, you reduce the resolution to 720, for example, okay? 100,000 to 80 by 720. And if you downscale, use bicubic. It's better quality and it's not heavy on the processing power. If you're doing like playing or more static image, use 30 FPS. Okay, it's lighter on the processing power and it's all that you need. Just use 60 FPS if you have really fluid images like videos, okay, like full graphics, then you want to use 60 FPS in combination with the full HD, okay? If you want to have this fluid graphics and don't have this processing power or the bitrate, then you reduce the resolution, okay, and leave it at 60. Disable arrow. If you are using the display capture, you need to disable arrow, or you will destroy the performance if you do not disable arrow. But you're gonna only use display for situations like I'm doing here now, that I need to capture here what I'm doing. In most cases, don't use display capture. Use all other things you can have. But as a last resort, use the display capture. Advanced, process priority. I had problems where OBS was not good performance, so I had to put in high. But the high gonna take power from the other softwares running on a computer, so you need to test. If you have problem, put it high. If not, you just use the regular one. All right? Video. Here you want to use these three. Don't change. It's just the best thing. The NV12 is optimized for the H.264 here in the output. Is optimized for the NV12, okay? The 709 is the standard, and UV color range. This you want to change if you have problems with the correlation between the video you're playing or the recording and what's showing in the stream. Okay, so if you have problems with contrast, brightness, these sort of things, you come here and switch to full, okay? Usually partial gonna give less problems, so you want to stick with it, okay? Only change if really necessary, and know that you can change the colors in the your graphic card settings too. Is another way to do it. Audio monitoring devices, the graphic card, you're gonna monitor audio, okay? So what you're gonna listen to. If you need to, when you are configuring, I'm gonna go there in a second. Disable Windows audio ducking, okay? That's basically it for the configurations. Now the scenes, you're gonna create a scene and you're gonna create a user source, okay? So here in the sources you have all the possibilities, images, videos, audios. If you wanna get from a window, you're gonna capture a window from browser, for example. Test, okay? All the stuff is here. Webcam, you add them here. Webcam, for example, I guess is video capture. Then that's all these things, okay? You gotta take a look there and see what's where, okay? And about the mixer, it's really important. Put at -3 output. The fader here is post. There's effects here in the filters. Okay, you can use the effects. For example, a limiter. I use a limiter because any sporadic thing that happen is controlled. Don't clip. Okay, so if you're doing a live performance and you have synthesizers and all, you really want to put a limiter here, just in the case, know that things that are up, they are processed before the next one. So on, it's a chain, okay? And this fader here is after all the plugins, okay? So it's after the limiter, it's gonna reduce 3. Okay, that's it. You can put like VST tools. You can select your VST. Okay, and that's really cool. There's here compressor, basic stuff, gain, noise gates, noise suppression, just basic stuff. I think there is a limiter in other versions of OBS. I'm using another one because it's the one I can run here. All right, let's see what more we have. We have advanced properties, audio properties. If you use a microphone that mix to mono, pan in the middle, offset 0, audio monitor, if you're not hearing audio and you think that it's not playing, first you check out here if it's playing or not. You switch to monitor and output, okay? So then you can hear if your music is playing or something. Tracks, you just leave everything on. And gonna send the sound to that track you selected there in the configuration, okay? Here is basically that. So why use -3 here? It's really important because when it converts to MP3, it's introduced intersample peaks. Intersample peaks are distortion. You don't want distortion. How you avoid distortion is like keeping the fader below the some decibels below the 0, okay? So if you put 1.5, for example, and it creates 1.5 peaks, it's below 0, okay? So it don't clip. So usually 1.5 or 2 is the maximum intersample peaks that are created. But why I use 3, the double? Because it's, how I told you, it's gonna be processed at least twice, maybe 3 times. Because if someone recorded, it's gonna encode again. If someone record and put in YouTube, it's gonna convert again. So it's like 3-4 times it's converting. You record once, you put to MP3 here in OBS is 1. Then you put to Twitch and it's gonna encode again. Then someone record, encode again. Then someone put in YouTube. Like all these steps are degrading the sound, okay? But let's suppose you only from OBS to Twitch is gonna have 2 processing. So -3 avoids the intersample peaks in most cases, okay? You don't need to go crazy about this, but what this chain of degradation is exactly how people end up with really bad MP3 audio in the internet. You don't know why it's so bad. That's because of this, okay? So last thing here, I want to show you how to do a cool visual thing. There's order. If you put down, up, the thing is going to go up or down, in front or behind, okay? So how to make a small cool thing with the logo here? You can go to filters. For example, add a GIF here. You see? Oh, this is really, my neighbors are making weird noises. You put a GIF here. For example, you can mix it. You want to use like blend edition in most cases, but you can do different ways. The edition is cool. You can stretch image to fit the other image it's covering or not. If not, it's going to be centralized on the image. For example, there are some things you can test here and see what's cool or not. The color correction, for example, you can switch colors, you can switch hue. You can fiddle with contrast, for example, here, less contrast. It's cool. Brightness, gamma, saturation, all these things, you know. Make it like black and white or super strong colors. So this is a little things. If you put one thing after the other, you can create nice compositions, you know, simple and light, and it's improved your stream in a lot of ways. Okay, so when you finish, you can lock here, so you can't move around because you can put it everywhere you want. Sometimes you load it, it's like here, you know. You can do a little trick to center, like transform and center to screen. Okay, so that's really useful. Then you lock, and that's it. Okay, you can turn it on and off here. Let's see, another thing really quick. If you're doing stream, turn off everything that consumes CPU. If you have a video being displayed in a browser, for example, it's consuming CPU. So don't use a browser at all. Okay, and here in the enable preview, it also consumes power. So usually you want to turn the enable preview off after you configure the things. All right. So let's see. I think the last thing here is the media source. Usually, if you are playing like a video, if you can use it, for example, to play something like not filter property. Just copy these settings here. Restart playback when source becomes active. What this means is it's gonna start from the beginning. You choose the file here. And here is the color thing I was talking about, partial or full. You leave it auto, but it's another place you can fiddle with things here. And if you play here, you turn this on, you're gonna start playing sound, okay? And your file, the file you choose, or video, it can be a video too, okay? So if I click to visualize again, it's gonna start from the beginning, all right? And I think that's all. I hope I helped you, and I wish you a good streaming, okay? And have fun. Bye.